Alright guys, so turn to the page in your instructions. Your title is the carbon dioxide oxygen cycle. Put your date in the corner. I'm going to draw my little cycle symbol. And then your teak is 5.9D. Hey, you've got these on your little handout. You're going to cut out and color your animal. This is a sloth. Hey, this is going to represent animals and humans. This is going to represent producers. So we're going to talk about how animals and humans produce carbon dioxide, how the plants will take in that carbon dioxide, plants and producers, and will make oxygen. So it's going to, and it flows in a cycle. Okay, so what you're going to do when you glue these in, these two will go flat in. On your carbon dioxide, you're going to have to be very careful to put one dot of glue over here and one small dot of glue over here. When you're going to glue it in, it's going to make a little spot for your arrow to go through. Okay, and I've color coded it. My carbon dioxide is green and my arrow is green. So the animals are going to breathe that out. The plants will take it in. Then when the plants use it in their photosynthesis that we're going to talk about in just a minute, they make oxygen. So you're going to do the same thing. Small dot of glue on the side, small dot of glue on the side. And when you glue it in, it's going to make a little slot for the arrow to flow away from the producers and up to the animals and humans to use. Okay, so the oxygen leaves the producers, and the carbon dioxide, they use the oxygen, and the carbon dioxide that they breathe out comes to the plants, so the plants can make their food in the process of photosynthesis that we're going to do on this page over here. Okay. Another little note that I have right here for you is plankton in the ocean and algae in freshwater and saltwater are also producers. A lot of times we forget about them because we think of the typical plant as our producer, but these are also producers. Okay, and then I drew a fun little plankton saying I am. Okay, so that's it for this page. So you'll pause it here and get everything glued in. We're going to go on to the next page. We're going to talk about photosynthesis. Okay, so we've mentioned it before when we were talking about how our organisms interact in our ecosystems. And what you're going to do is your title line up here, you're going to put producers use photosynthesis to make food. Remember we talked about the root words in photosynthesis, photo meaning light, and synthesis meaning to create. So you're going to color your flower. Right here, you're another example of a producer. Okay, we're going to label some of their parts as a review. Of course, we have the petals and the leaves and the stem and the roots. Now, what we're going to talk about is how photosynthesis works. Okay, you get light energy from the sun. I'm so glad that didn't land glue side down. Okay, so you get light energy from the sun. And the chlorophyll in the plants is what takes it in. And the one that does the most work for that is the green chlorophyll. So that's why plants usually have green stems or green leaves and things like that, is because that's where the most light is absorbed and used in this process. Okay, so I'm going to draw an arrow from my sunlight to my leaves, and the leaves do the majority of the work. They're going to take in the sunlight. They're also going to take in the carbon dioxide. And I'm going to trim the little carbon dioxide just a little bit to see if I can get it to fit in there better. A little bit of glue. There, I'm going to fit him right here. Okay, so the leaves are going to take in the sunlight with their chlorophyll. They have small openings called stomata that they use to open up, and they'll take in carbon dioxide. They'll process inside of their leaves, and they will make their own food. And their food is called glucose. So after they take in the sunlight and the carbon dioxide, they make glucose. Now they use the food that they make to grow, to reproduce, okay, and to take care of all of their needs, but they also store some. Okay, so they'll make the glucose. Oh, I forgot a few other ingredients that they need. They need water when they're making their food, and that water comes in from the roots. So the roots will absorb the water. They also absorb any nutrients that are in the soil that they'll need to grow. And nutrients, remember, they come back into the soil from our decomposers, okay? So our little earthworm guys, okay, they're in charge of being sure that the nutrients are there in the soil. But then they help the nutrients that are in the soil get absorbed by the plant to help them make their glucose. Which is their food. Okay. Now while they're taking in the sunlight, the carbon dioxide, the water, and the nutrients, and making their glucose, they're actually going to expel oxygen. It's like a byproduct. Whenever you have a chemical reaction, you'll have it where two products mix in together, and then you end up with a product that you meant to have, and sometimes you end up with some extra product that you did not intend to have. And so that extra byproduct that they don't need, because they're a plant and they don't need it, is oxygen. So they release that out into the atmosphere, and the humans and animals that do need it put it out. So you're going to connect this to this page right here by drawing an arrow from the oxygen here to the oxygen over here. And you have another little label. Mine just up and disappeared, so you can use the label there to label that oxygen until I find mine. It fell down and escaped and disappeared. So that's what your notes need to look like. You need to get all of that copied and enjoy the BrainPop videos.